Hi, everybody. This is Trey Stewart, the Republican leader in the Maine State Senate. Welcome back to another edition of the Republican Vision series. We are joined this week by my friend and colleague, Matt Harrington, who is the assistant leader of the Maine Senate Republicans. Matt, thanks so much for joining us.
Good to be here.
So, Matt, tell me a little bit about your background outside of the legislature.
So I've been in the legislature here 10 years, but prior to that, 18 years in law enforcement, and I was a firefighter, advanced EMT before that.
So obviously the state of public safety is really in flux right now here in the state of Maine. And so you've got a detailed history of experience in public safety and law enforcement. What would you say the Republican vision is as it relates to public safety in the future of the state of Maine?
Well, first and foremost, I think we need to bring back a culture, certainly here in Augusta, that supports law enforcement. Over the last 7 years, I think we've seen a culture of degrading law enforcement, not supporting them, whether it be budgetarily or just from a support standpoint. LD 1971, which is currently sitting on the governor's desk, I think is a prime example of that. Not supporting our ICE officials.
So that really kind of underscores the state of things under Democrat control. So share for me what it would look like with Republican control in Maine. What would the future of public safety and law enforcement look like for Maine?
Well, I think we would see a culture, again, that supports law enforcement. There would be no doubt in any law enforcement officer's mind here in this state that state government supports them, would be giving them the resources they need to do their jobs, and they would know that they have their support here in Augusta. Again, currently we are not seeing that, and I think we need to bring back a culture that it's easy to demonize ICE officials and Border Patrol, but we need to remember a lot of these folks are lifelong Mainers, and they signed up to do a job. They're enforcing federal law, and we should be supporting them in that.
So the reports are that in Maine you can get hundreds of thousands of free needles and even boofing kits handed out by nonprofits across Maine. Obviously, we don't think that that's going to be effective at combating addiction, at combating the opioid epidemic that we're facing. What are the approaches that Republicans would take to get our arms around that problem?
I personally would completely do away with these needle exchanges. That is my position. I represent the city of Sanford that has had a huge problem with needles being found all over the city, sidewalks, parks. It's disgusting. It's a public safety hazard. Kids have a right to go to the playground and not find a needle. And now we currently have daycares that won't even bring their kids to the park because they're afraid one of the kids is going to step on a needle. So we need to do away with these programs.
Totally agree. I think needle exchanges and all these other dangerous handouts are a bad idea. Certainly, what I have seen is Republicans making substantial commitments on investment in resources for folks that are struggling with addiction, and investments in community, and certainly building out the options that are available for folks who are struggling with addiction rather than enabling. Is that a fair assessment in your mind as well?
Absolutely. I think we saw it firsthand when we dismantled in the city of Sanford some of the encampments of homeless folks. All of those individuals were offered treatment services, and the vast majority just outright refused. So, it just goes to show that we're enabling this culture. We have resources available for treatment, and we need to force people into treatment, to get their life back on track.
Tough love, right? Saying no to folks who are addicted, and being firm in that position, but also helping them to get what they really need, which is treatment and mental health resources.
I think it's incredibly difficult to get off of these substances, and when the government is enabling them, you're almost making it impossible for them to get clean. And I think a tough love approach does work, and we need to get back to common sense approaches like that.
So it should be clear which party in Augusta is going to stand for common sense and tough love when it comes to public safety, to drug addiction, and mental health resources. And I'm just so grateful to have champions like Matt with us in our caucus to be able to help lead that fight. Republicans are going to continue to lead the way on these tough policy conversations, and grateful for the experience that we have in our caucus of Matt and others who can bring that real world common sense into the discussion. So thanks for being with us, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to continuing this debate going into the second session.
All right, join us next week for another edition of the Republican Vision Series.